is Mabuto Ubindela. I work for a company called riskforesights.com. We will be looking at how do you envision your future? Where do you see yourself in the future as young people? And how do you prepare yourself for that future? And also, how do you understand your current situation in terms of preparing yourself for the future that all of you are looking for? I am sure all of you here, you want one day to run a bigger facility than the one that Alex is running today. The question is, what does it take to get there, right? It doesn't happen by chance. It requires proper thinking, proper preparation. And the question is, what kind of a process should you be following to take you there to whatever future you are dreaming of? I'm just going to share with you a process that typically some of people get to know about it when they go to a business school. This is planning. I believe that planning from a young age must be taught how to plan properly for our future, right? I'm sure that most of you here have completed grade 12, right? The question becomes, at what point did you plan to pass grade 12? Somebody said to me, if you want a kid to actually be, okay, is this one better? All right. If you want your kid to succeed in life, you start intervening when they are 3 years old. And I know when I was in school, my teacher used to tell us that we will never be anything in life. We got discouraged, right? Our parents discourage us. Our friends, they discourage us. If you say, there is a video that I wanted to show you today, I'm sure maybe some of you have seen it. Thank you. It looks like it's working now. So the video is about a young South African dancer who wanted to be a soccer player. But unfortunately, he was diagnosed with cancer and they had to cut one of his legs. So currently, he's got only one leg and he walks on crutches. And he's a dancer, he dances very well, he's on the world stage. And some of you that have seen the video last week where he won a global competition on dancing. I'm sure it was held in England or in USA. I wanted to play you that guys the video, and so that you can see the spirit of determination in this young man that wanted to be a soccer player, and then the leg gets cut because of cancer, and now he can't play soccer. He didn't say, "Yonke into iphelile ngayo." That's not what he said. What he said, what else in my circumstance can I do? Right. And that's a very powerful video. I think it has got more than 10 million views as of today. So if you get a chance and watch that video, I'm sure you will be inspired. And that is one of our own, which says, despite all odds, right? And one thing that I'm going to teach you today is called what we call situational analysis. It is very important to understand your situation that you are in. And then from there, say, how do I overcome the situation that I am? So I'm aware that some of you are coming from backgrounds where the schools that you went to are not well resourced. And thanks to Alex, he decided that those of you that could not go to university, those of you that could not go to college, there is an option for you, right? That's why you are here today. So you have to understand that when you fail grade 12, it's not the end of the world. You have to think harder and start saying, what else can you do, right? And when you are still studying and you are staying where you don't have electricity but you still must study from, let's say, 6 o'clock until 10 p.m. and it's dark and you can't study. How do you work around that? But that is your reality, right? So you have to understand that and devise ways. There is a doctor where I come from. I come from Dundee, just after Newcastle. Dr. Kumalo, I think now he is 8 years old, was telling us a story of when they were growing up, how he used to study. He said there were street lights where he used to stay, and he will go to that street light from 8 p.m. when he has already gone to the fields and then brought the kettle home and sit in that street light and study until 12 midnight. And he became a doctor. Right. He understood his circumstances, and then he said, what is it that I need to do to get around our circumstances? So we don't have to give up because we are saying the environment that we are coming from is too bad to enable us to achieve our vision. So it is very, very important that at all times we think about the future, where we want to be in 3 to 5 years' time or even more. And then once you have got a very clear vision as to where you want to be in 3 to 5 years or even 10 years or even 20 years, you then decide, what is it that I need to do today to take me to where I want to go, right? Some of you here every Friday, you call each other and ask each other, where are we going to drink, right? Does that take you to where you want to go? I doubt it, right? Some of you here, you have got access to smartphones, but what do you watch on smartphones? What videos do you? Today we live in what we call an information age. So there's something today that is called ChatGPT. How many of you here know ChatGPT and have used it? Okay. That thing is wonderful. I love it. I'm a lazy person by nature. I don't have to read for hours nowadays. I just ask a question and I get an answer, right? But most of you, I've observed, you watch too much of videos that will not help you with anything in life. They are nice to watch. It's nice to go clubbing, right? But you can't go clubbing every day and you can't go drink every day. So you must get your priorities right in terms of choose what you need to do today. One of the things that I've observed is that, as I have already said, our situation is that we have got 60% unemployment rate for youth. What are the chances that you'll get a job in the next 3 years? I think they are 10%, right? The question then is, what is it that then you need to do to create your own employment? You can do it. They can doubt you when you say, I want to also have my own school that you will run. Some people will doubt you, but the option that we have, or that you have as youth, is maybe creating your own job opportunities, identifying places that you can go to, and then what you do when you get to those places, you upskill yourself so that you become an innovator or a creator.
Good morning to everyone. Proman Ops is a short description for professional management support operations. We work with mainly the development industry, construction industry, but also with your economical businesses, which is checkers, that type of businesses. Our aim that we do mainly is based on anti-extortion, anti-corruption, the abuse of labor itself. We also assist people that want to have their own companies. we guide them on a process to follow. The reason why we're doing this is that I'm going to use as an example one company that we work for. They request us to provide them access to those that can, SMEs or labour that needs to work on site. What we then do is we go to NPOs, we work with Labour Department, we work with Social Department, and we make sure that the people that participate do benefit in the true way. I don't know who has heard, and I hope Mr. Ambros will confirm on this, Employment Services South Africa, ESSA. So what you need to do, you can go onto the government page of Labour and you can search there ESSA. The ESSA is where you can complete your detail as a CV. You can be an unskilled person. I use the example again. You walk in like a big pen, but you walk out like a Parker pen. Now, why do we use this when we approach businesses with potential people to work for them? Through this process, if I go, I'm now young, nobody knows me, but I'm making certain information available of what is my worth. How can I prove that? I do not have evidence. I have no trail of experience. But through the ESSA process, which is just one of the functions that is available to you, a company can now use your reference number and they can see that, but this person has a track record of this experience and these qualifications and he's worked with this. And through the ESSA, recognition of prior learning occurs as well. So, if you are now a bricklayer and you are unskilled, you want to become fully skilled, follow the ESSA process. So the more work you do and you use your reference with ESSA, you get qualified. And that makes it for companies much easier to employ you. It gives that reference qualification, you're there. A lot of you want to say, but I need to get into the labour, I need to work for companies so that I can show I have experience. Okay, you're going to work for some company, that's fine. But that company by law should be registered with ESSA, with Labour Department, through the ESSA, and he must actually register all his employees on ESSA. Why? Is it just so that we can know who you are? No. Because through the labour process, you can qualify for further training for free. Now, Department of Economical Development, they too have these programs where you can have education for free. Department of Social Development have programs where you can have education for free. You don't need to pay for it. And this is what you need to link up with. Labour Department is the best partner that you can have for your future. Department of Economical Development, get them involved in your community. Department of Social Development, get them involved, get them part of you, make them part of who you are. Because in that way, you are growing your community. Not just one ward, more than one ward. We become one community in total. There's a thing that we call ward gangsters. Because when we have in this area a project or a development or work that needs to be done, it belongs only to this ward. But now I'm not allowed to work in another ward. But at some point, this is being, the opportunities in this ward is going to end. But another ward is going to have opportunities. If we do not work together as one, but against each other, we are limiting each other. To expand, become one whole community. Involve government processes and programs and educations that you have available. I see SEDA is here as well. Make them part of who you are. And as an SME, you can grow through those processes as well. So why just be here, and between, it's me and my neighbor, we say we're going to do something to get somewhere. But how do I do it? Who do I talk to? I have one of my people that speak to me. He's a black man. He's a civil engineer. He's qualified. But he can't get customers, clients. Okay? So he asked me, yes, how do you get your clients? I don't advertise. I don't have business cards. So how do I get my clients? How do I get business without advertising at all? Okay? And without a business card. And I can tell you now that I've never had any business coming to me because of a business card. So when somebody asks me for my business card, I say 079 513 3924. And my name is Yas. Is he going to lose it? No. Is it going to be fixed in his mind? Yes. Now, when something should occur, who are you going to call? Okay? And that's what you need to do. Is when you want to start to get clients, it is about your results. You can talk as much as you want. You can do anything. But if you cannot prove what you've done, what your capacity is, you have no value. And that's why I'm saying, through the SI, the Labour Department is your best partner, the other government institutes, get them involved. They want to be involved. Let them, they've got workshops, they will come to this place, you make this place available to them. Labour will sit here and they will take your information and create your CV for you. Yeah, you don't need to do it somewhere else. They will come here and do workshops for you here. Social department, economical department, it's there. Utilize it and you will get your clients. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nicholas Dreker, and I'm from the law firm Lawton's Africa. I'm here today with my colleague Andile Mpale, and we're here to speak to you about the legal intricacies of starting a business in South Africa and to equip you with the knowledge necessary to safeguard your business from the perilous pitfalls of non-compliance and entrepreneurial endeavors and ensure that you do not falter in the face of any regulatory challenges. Now, you wouldn't play football without shin guards, nor would you play rugby without a gum guard. Neither would you face a fast bowler without a helmet. So why would you expose yourself to the business world without similar protection? That is exactly what companies do. They act as a buffer between you and the open market. The most distinctive characteristic of a company is that it acts as a separate legal personality. In other words, once incorporated, a company can sue and be sued in its own name, separate from its directors and owners. Whereas if you run a business out of your own name as a sole proprietor and the company incurs a debt, you yourself in your personal capacity are liable. The separation a company offers grants limited liability protection, shielding your personal assets from the business's liabilities. So if the company faces financial difficulties or a lawsuit, the personal assets of the owner are generally safe. Further, a company structure facilitates growth and scalability. It allows you to secure external funding through business loans, and it offers the opportunity for you to sell a portion of your business to raise funds for future endeavors. It can also help unlock certain tax benefits, such as deductions for business expenses and tax incentives for job creation and investment. The benefits provided by a company structure are clear. However, it should be noted that South African law allows for a variety of different kinds of companies, and it is important to choose the correct one depending on your needs. For example, a public company that lists its shares for sale on the open market This kind of company requires a minimum listing value of 50 million rand. So I don't really think it's that relevant for the purposes of our discussion. Then we have a state-owned company where there is a single shareholder with 100% control, the government. Private individuals cannot hold private stakes in these kinds of companies. And as such, it's not really relevant here either. These include Eskom, Transnet. Next we have a personal liability company, otherwise called an incorporation. Now, these types of companies go against everything I said about directors and owners not being liable. If a company in an incorporation is liable for a debt, so are the directors and owners jointly and severally. Well, why would you want that? The problem is that these kinds of company incorporations are mandatory for certain company structures, such as accounting practices or law firms. It's scary, I know, but it keeps you honest as a lawyer. Now, none of these options really seem like a good fit for a good, young, budding entrepreneur seeking to get their business off the ground. There's one clear option: the private company, or PTY Limited, as I'm sure you would have heard at some stage. This company structure affords the owner the requisite protection, as well as the versatility needed to operate in the ever-changing South African market. A private company allows the owner to sell portions of their company to investors and offers greater flexibility, allowing the owner to operate the company how they wish. If you're going to start a company, this is by far the most practical option. There is another type of company called an NPC, or non-profit company, which is tax exempt so that it can maximize the good the company can achieve. Our very own Believers Care Society is an example of such. Okay, so you've got the idea, you've got the ambition, you have everything you need to start your company. What is your first step? The CIPC, or Commission, being the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission, is your first step. For you to be able to successfully utilize the benefits that a company offers, you need to ensure that your business is compliant with the necessary legal requirements. The first step is to register your company with the CIPC. Now, I'm only going to give you a brief overview because the CIPC website provides in-depth narratives guiding you through this entire process. So whilst it's important to take note of, you don't need to remember the exact process step by step. It is all available for you online in a very palatable and easy to use format. Registration essentially entails capturing the director's details of a company, so that the CIPC and any other person wishing to deal with your company can find out who controls that company. These details also need to be verified through ID numbers and copies of IDs and passports to ensure that the people are actually real people. You can then enter the details of the company itself, such as the company name or what type of company. And if you remember, the private company will most likely be the company type applicable for your circumstances. You don't actually have to have a company name right now. You're more than entitled to operate with a registration number as is. And down the line, when you're feeling a bit more creative, you can then amend and change your business, your registration number to your actual company name. You will then also be required to register with the UIF and the Compensation Fund. In the event that down the line you have some kind of employee working for you, you'll need to comply with those. And you will also need to file a PEE certificate outlining the ownership structure of a company by previously disadvantaged individuals. Finally, you need to set up a business bank account and pay a prescribed fee. This amount is only 175 Rand. That's all it costs to register a company. Now obviously you need the ideas and the work ethic behind it, but to actually get things off the ground, you only need 175 Rand. Please don't let some friend of a friend or mate from down the road tell you that no, they'll register it for you for 1,000 Rand. It doesn't work. That's not how much it costs. It's just 175 and you're off to go. After all these steps, your business will finally be registered. Like I said, the CIPC's website does outline this all in extensive detail for you to follow. Now that registration has been achieved, your next challenge begins. Staying registered. Every year, you need to submit your annual returns to the CIPC, reflecting your profit or loss that the company might have attained. This keeps the CIPC updated as to how your company is progressing, and if you fail to submit these returns, it can result in deregistration of your company. You also need to inform the CIPC of any further changes to the company's name or particulars such as directorship. All of this can be facilitated through the CIPC's online portal. I'm now going to let Ndile walk you through the further details regarding the compliance aspects, as well as the support offered to SMMEs and small businesses.
So today I'll be discussing, my focus will be on small businesses. We all know that when you start a business, it is small with the hopes of growing it. Now I'll be talking about the importance of small businesses in our country, as well as the incentives or benefits that are derived from having a small business or starting a small business. Now our country recognizes that small businesses play a vital role in our economy, and as a result of that vitality that they play in our economy, there's benefits and incentives provided to them. Now we all know that small businesses, especially in the climate that we face in currently of unemployment, as our colleague has highlighted over there, that we face with, I'm sure, over 60% of unemployment rate in our country. Small businesses provide employment to communities and people. They also contribute to our GDP and economic growth. Small businesses also leverage competition and product development. I'm sure if like 5 people here created a business that sold the same product, because you want to be better, you constantly want to develop the product. So it fosters competition. There's also skill development in small businesses, in that you provide training to people, and it also plays a contribution in the supply and value chain development, in that small businesses do not only serve customers personally, but they also serve bigger businesses and enterprises. So now that's the importance of small businesses. Now the incentives or benefits that you derive as a small business owner are as follows. There's finance assistance available to a lot of small business owners. The National Business Act has created what we know as the Small Enterprise Development Agency, which is probably one of our colleagues, and they'll discuss everything relating to their agency. But essentially, the financial assistance comes in the form of loans or grants or venture capitals or things of that nature. They also provide skills development and training to small business owners to develop their businesses and to make them a success. There's also tax relief implications for business owners, for small business owners rather. I know that if you earn if your company makes less than 1 million per annum, you qualify for a turnover tax or tax turnover. And I also know that if you qualify as a small business, SBC, Small Business Corporation, the 79,000 that you make in a year cannot be taxed or will not be taxed if you do qualify, however. There's also deductions and exemptions that are available to small business owners, and this is recognition of the importance of small businesses and the importance that they play in our economy. And then there's also business development and also procurement. Our government also likes to go for small businesses when they do tenders or procuring services or tenders. So that's a good consideration. So now we're dealing with the compliance aspect of starting and running a business. My colleague Nicholas here has touched a bit on that, and I'll just be going more in depth into that. So the first thing would be having to register your company with the CIPC. The second thing is you will have tax obligations. As Nick has mentioned, as a sole proprietor or a partner, the tax obligations come to you personally, but if you do have a private company, for example, that's a separate legal entity, and then you'll have to pay income tax or value-added tax, and if you do have employees, then you'll pay employee tax. So when you do start your business and then you employ the first person that you employ, there will be labor laws considerations that will have to be taken into account. So you have to make yourself familiar with things such as the Labor Relations Act, the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, and this basically regulates working hours, leave, how to draft employment contracts. There's also considerations such as the Minimum Wage Act. I know currently the minimum wage, as much as it is very small, it currently sits at 25.42 cents per hour. So those are the things that you'll consider when you start your business and you have like your first employee or you have a lot of employees. And then there's also licensing permits and sector-specific regulations. Depending on whichever sector of business that you want to go into, there will be regulations, there will be licensing requirements and permits that you'll require in order for you to run the business. I know that in the food industry, you will need the legislation that essentially governs or regulates the food industry would be the Consumer Protection Act to ensure that you provide good quality and good quality products to your customers. There's also the National Business Act, which requires you to have a license before you can start any food business, such as a restaurant or catering company or anything of that sort. And then regarding the transport industry, if you want to transport passengers, you also need a license or permit. If you also want to transport goods from one place to another, this would be mainly the logistics companies and things like that. You'll also need an NPTR or polluting licenses. And you can easily Google these things and find the relevant authorities on where to apply. There's also the liquor industry. I'm sure many of you know that we need a license to operate and sell liquor, and you also need like a zoning certificate to basically say, this is what I'll be making, this is what I'll be building essentially my pub, my tavern, you cannot like build a pub or a tavern next to things such as like a school because I don't think that's like conducive for anything of that sort. And then there are also other types of business requirements in different industries, like the health services, whereby you'll have to get permits for gyms and things like that. Auditing and bookkeeping is basically just saying your records must be clean. A lot of businesses, when businesses start, they have good intention, and then as time goes on, they're mostly used as illegal sites or fronting to do illegal stuff. So make sure that your records and everything are in order. And then there's also POPIA, which is essentially the processing of information. When you're a business, you're going to be dealing with the information of other people, so you'll have to have regard to how you process that information, how you store that information, and how you disseminate that information. And this is now not part of my presentation, but I just wanted to let you guys know, I'm not an entrepreneur by any chance, but from the entrepreneurs that I've heard speaking, they basically say that this is not an easy journey if you want to undertake it. There will be hardships, without a doubt, but if you are determined and you know what you want, you will face setbacks, rejections, but if you know what you want, you have goals and you're determined, then I think you should go for it. But also, I think you should also explore other things, such as I know a lot of people are now exploring, a lot of young black people are exploring farming and agriculture. You can look into that. There's the boom in technology, creation of software and applications. For example, now we're faced with the crisis of load shedding. I know one person came up with the idea of creating the load shedding app. If you come up with such an idea, you are set probably for a long time. And then, I would just say think outside of the box, consider a lot of things when you want to start a business. You're not just limited to your car wash or your catering company. Think outside of the box. Social media, you can start a marketing company that's mostly focused on digital marketing and things such as that. So my advice to you guys would be just think outside of the box, and if you're determined, go for it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
My name is Valeta Malaza. I work for the Southern African HIV Clinicians Society. we train nurses and doctors on how they handle medication so that they can treat patients in clinics, in hospitals, in various situations where HIV is related, and we deal with all HIV-related issues. But I am here on a capacity of a community worker because my first love, before I came as a social worker into the field of HIV, I started as a community health worker. And I started as a young person who was brought up by a ugogo. I was an orphan. And I then decided when I was older, 18, 19, when I finished matric, when I was asked what did I want to do, I wasn't sure, which I think a lot of young people, when you finish high school, you're not sure what you want to do, ne? You don't know. There's a lot, man. Wow. Ne? And it's overwhelming. Ne? And so I had a cousin who was a social worker at child welfare, Soweto Mfulo. And she said, no, come and volunteer and just, instead of sitting at home, not sure what you want to do, just come and see what you want to do. Just, play with these kids and then you decide. We give you a year, so my family gave me a year, decide what you want to do. I think a lot of people call that a gap year, while you find yourself what you want to do, right? And so I then, through working with children, and in those years, in the early 90s, HIV was kind of creeping in, right? It wasn't like a major thing back then, right? But we had this large population of children who were losing parents, right? And who were filling in homes, right? And so that's how I started my journey, basically. Volunteering. After volunteering, I then said, no, man, I like dealing with people. And then they said, no, apply. And then I did my social work, right? And so in that, I found my passion, right? And so my talk for today is that it's around your emotional well-being and your emotional wellness, right? When things get to be too much, right? And there's a lot, and you're not sure where to start, right? You want to start your own business, you want a job, at home we are not right? Hey, and we want these LVs, we want these Gucci's, we want these Moshinos, whatnot, but there's nothing, right? There's no income coming in at home, right? And so what do you want to do? And so I then learned over the years that when you get into such situations, right, there's a lot that you want to do, you're not sure which direction you want to go. There are places, shout out to the two guys, I can't, to Nicholas and Andy. If bringing money, I would ask for a phone number. But there's, like they said, there are a lot of places where you can go, and what Yas also said, where you can go and get information, right? But a lot of times, we now see a lot of young people decide to take their own lives. Why? Why? Yeah? What? Peer pressure? Someone says peer pressure? Yeah? Sihlukumezekile. Hey, yeah, sihlukumezekile ngendlela. Omunye uthini? Why do you think young people are taking their own lives? Substance abuse, right? Sometimes it's just you're not fitting in, right? You're not sure, you not make sure. Eh? It's not make sure, where do I fit in? Yeah? And you want to be sure, what do I want? Because in life here today, when you see people driving big cars, wearing nice LVs and Gucci's and all of that, now you know, inside but it's hard. And so a lot of times as young people, I would really suggest that, like, take a break. Ne? Take a break, Jay. Ne? Be on your own. Yes, you have your friend, you are choose umatala wako, but umatala wako is not always there for we. Umatala wako now we don't share the same issues. Umatala wako buye uno aunt malume o provider yolini. As far as it. And so, like, take a break. Don't be too hard on yourself. Ne? That is the first step of making sure that you are okay. Me, Valencia, I'm okay. Is that I step back from all the noise that's going on. Because I'm looking, I'm wanting myself in Yasfuna. And the next step is that whatever emotions that you are feeling at the time, then recognize it, acknowledge it, and face it. You might not know ukuthi yini exactly, yini lengifilayo. Omunye umuntu makafika khuluma, hey, ekhaya sidla pizza every Friday, and yet ekhaya sidla amasi nekhabishi or nepapa. I can't be talking about that. It's not sexy, I vibe, it's just, and so, like, step back and feel those things and look for people. There are a lot of institutions out there, a lot of institutions that offer these business opportunities. They also offer ways of how you can, like, just take a break. About R&R. Just go somewhere as a group of friends, take a chips and just chat about us, about you and me. About where do we want to see ourselves in, like, don't make it too far. 20 years is too far. Yeah, 20 years is far. 20 years is far. 1 year is very far. Now we want to talk about 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line. We want to see things happen again. So you make a plan. And in making a plan, as a young person, not everyone is here, is intellectual. Some of us are here, we want to see things. And so I would suggest you make yourself a vision board. Does anyone know what a vision board is? Right? A vision board is, you might take a piece of paper and put it on the wall and say, this is where I want to see myself in 5 years' time. Start there. Don't go 10 years. 10 years is too far. In 5 years, where do I want to see myself? You put it down. I want to see myself owning a car. Yeah, you don't hear people say having a car is not an achievement. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's an achievement. You don't have to have a house to have a car. You need a car to get to Pretoria. Again, if you get a job interview right now that says be in Pretoria at 3 o'clock, yeah? If you have a friend, a cousin who has a car, uzoya north. You won't go to north. Uzocela umalume, Uncle Mzala, akuphi 100 rand, ufakele uMaqala, akhaphe near Pretoria, we interview. You understand? So I want to see myself having a car in 5 years' time. So how am I gonna achieve that car in 5 years' time? Right? I don't have a job. Right? So I need to start my internships. Someone was talking about internships. I think Kubab Shubi talked about my internships. Look, lots of websites. There are lots of websites that offer a lot of things for young people. You just need to make yourself available. Lama smartphones and now, they give you access to a lot of information. Right, no wrong, wrong, no right, to right, but you have to choose what is right for you. What are too wrong? I be right, I be wrong for Rowan. Wrong, right for Rowan, I for Rowan, and this was less. You understand? And so you start there. You put in CVR, right? Okay, fine, they want experience. I just said matric and experience, right? I'm sure there are places where you can volunteer and get a stipend, right? These days, there's also a 350, which in our time was never there, right? I have young people who have started businesses now about 350, right? You start there, start small, and you build on there. So I want to see myself do that, and then I get myself into a formal something, somewhere where I will wake up every morning. If you can guess, man, yes, if you can guess, and I'm in a little bit, makala wako asivuke asambe sophanda masithi mawuthi asambe sophanda usho ukuthi asambe somoshela omunye umuntu. Let's go and see what opportunities are out there so we can make our lives izinto zenzeke. Angithi you start from there, and then the next thing will come, and then the next thing will come when you congregate or when you network, right? We use the word network. When you network, when you meet other people, right? Njalo asikhulumi ngegroove ne? Sikhuluma ngegroove njalo? No, you can't be having ithombe zegroove njalo bafethu. Please. Let's not have ithombe zegroove. Somewhere, somehow have a picture yakho ushafula amaphepha for EBCS. Somewhere have a picture where you are cleaning windows or you're feeding old people. Somewhere there are crutches. Somewhere I'm sure they're looking for people to help. Something. You understand? You start there so that you can feel. Someone was talking. I think yes, was talking about the value. Right? You find the value in you. That is one thing about yourself that is good and you're passionate about it. Right? You find that what am I more inclined towards? What is it that I like more? Right? And you look, what can I put in towards that? And what I like most will give me joy. And when I decide to work towards that, it's not work, it's fun. It's what I like. And what I like can't be work, can't be difficult. I can't wake up, I'm tired. You understand? So basically what I'm here to say is that as young people, never lose a sense of who you are. Never allow other people to look down on you. Ailingan for a reason. We are not the same. Funny, abanye bamhlophe, abanye bamnyama, abanye bakhona, abanye bamqondo. Asifani, and angeke sifani, and there's a reason. Abanye fast, abanye slow. There's a reason. God created us in all shapes, forms for a reason. We all there for a reason. We can't all be doctors and not have abantu pick it up about dokudoti. Masese about doctor, one of the dokudoti. You understand? Don't look down on the next person because when you think you are better. But let us stand together and try and build each other. When we meet as our friends, let's talk about positive things. I was talking about there, we complaining. It's easy to complain. Okay, when you complain, you're shifting the blame to the next person and not looking inwardly. Okay? But when you decide, I am not going to complain, so instead of complaining, I am going to look for the positive in the negative. There's always a positive in the negative. Always. You understand? Angithi kuyashiwo kuthiwa noma kufiwe kuyahlekwa. Fiwe mara sizohleka. We'll find a reason sihleke. Simhleke lo bekashonile ukuthi hey ubani ugogo bekenza kanje kuhlungu ne? But siyahleka. So there's always a positive in the negative. But always look at the positive. And always have gratitude. Ne? Bobonga yalazi becula lelo thi wenda nami bobonga lokho kutholayo. Uyabonga. Ngicela sibonge. Ne? Sibonge ekhaya bayasipha indawo yokulala, bayasigcobisa, basipha ukudla. Bonga lokho okuncane okunako. Ne? And ngicela si-encourage nani positively, in positive things that we build each other ngazo. And one last thing. I heard a statement ethi as a young girl, ungahambulala ngoba uzomitha, and then HIV. Ngicela singafaki i-blame abantwaneni bamantombazana, ne? Akusumntana wentombazana uyenza umntana ayi-one. All the males in the room, when you decide to open your zip, you must also think of repercussions. Yokuthi ukwehlisa kwakho izip kuzokufikisa ne? But let us not blame the girl child for the actions of two people. Ne? Ngiyabonga.
My name is Dali Kwezi. I'm coming from CEDA. I'm a specialist in cooperative development. I'm going to leave this presentation. There's a lot of slides there, but I'm going to summarize it after, because I see that the program is running behind. Yeah, so I don't want to bore you. I've pumped a lot of information, Pastor. Yeah, I've pumped a lot of information there. But I'm going to move very fast because I need to explain to people CEDA. That's a table of contents, right? Who is CEDA? Many people don't know this abbreviation, CEDA. Small Enterprise Development Agency. That's the definition of CEDA. I'm not gonna. CEDA is mandated to implement government small business strategy, design and implement a standard of common national delivery of network for small business enterprise and integrate government funded. Normally when I summarize this, is there any person here in there, I think I must follow the summary of all these things. Is there anyone here that knows DSBD, Department of Small Business Development? You guys are learners. Is there anyone that knows that department? You don't know it. Yeah, I like it when I start there, Pastor, because you'll always assume that people know these things, whereas people do not know these things. Department of Small Business Development. The minister there was Minister Kumbuzo Tsafeni. And then she left, went to the presidency office. Who's the minister of the SPD? You also don't know that minister. There's a lot that you don't know. I need to come back and do some. One of my job is training. Yeah, one of my job is training. There's Department of Small Business Development, right? From the word Department of Small Business Development, right? The minister there is Stella Ndabeni. Is there anyone that knows Minister Stella Ndabeni? I'm told that is the youngest minister. You also don't know Minister. There's Madame there, she knows it. Yeah. The reason why I start there is because Department of Small Business Development is the mother department that gave birth to CEDA and also gave birth to CFA. CEDA for non-financial services. CFA for financial services. what are non-financial services? Non-financial services are those wonderful things that were discussed here by my brother there, Andile. My brother Andile and his business partner was defining in non-financial services. If we had time, I would ask you and check who was listening when Andile was presenting. Because I saw many of you were not listening to Andile. Yeah. Non-financial services are those services of business plan development. When you are an entrepreneur, you are about to start a business, you need to first develop business plan. You need to conduct, where it starts with the feasibility study. What is feasibility study? Feasibility study is the research that you do. That I want to be an entrepreneur, where do I start? Do I want to be a musician? You are in a business to make money. So basically in that feasibility study, it will guide you what you want to start doing, whether this thing is going to make money or not make money, whether is there a need, whether people need this service that you are going to deliver or not. So all of those things, business plan, feasibility study, technical training, business management skills, business startup training, advanced business, imports, market analysis, market survey, all of those things. There are many, about 64. But as CEDA, we don't just do those things. We first conduct what? Diagnostic assessment of the business. It's more like when you are going to a doctor. The doctor, you don't go to a doctor and just say, I need a penicillin. No. The doctor is going to conduct what? Diagnostic assessment first to check what is it? Your blood pressure, your temperature, it uses a stethoscope, all those, and CEDA has got tools that does the what? The assessment of different businesses. There are many of those tools that CEDA. There are about 8. Assessment of company operations, critical path exercise, there's BIAT, there's PASAT that assesses you as the business driver, whether you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Remember Adil, when he was closed, he said, I am not an entrepreneur. And to be an entrepreneur is very tough out there. So as CEDA, we do have tools to test you. And I've given those tools to Simpiwe. Where's Simpiwe? Have you given your learners all those tools to check them? There's Simpiwe. I've given Simpiwe a tool called PASAT. That tool seeks to understand more about you. It's an in-depth about you, whether do you have what it takes to run a business. Remember, not all of us are meant to run a business. Some of us want to be employed in Pick n Pay or Spa, or work and be a teacher. We are comfortable when we are employed. You understand? Yeah, so because there's a lot of discipline, commitment, dedication, and seriousness when you run a business. So some of us like to take it easy. If you are employed, and then that's fine. And then the money for cell phone is there, and then you leave that job. That's because you have managed to get that cell phone. Then you leave that job, and then you go and look, you know. But this presentation is saying it all. I was trying to summarize it. Yeah. CEDA is in 9 provinces. Remember, in South Africa, there are 9 provinces. And the province that we're in right now is Gauteng. And CEDA is there in all of those 9 provinces. A CEDA set up. Each and every province, there will be a CEDA provincial office. And then there will be CEDA branches. Like here in Gauteng, there's a CEDA Joburg branch. There's also a CEDA in Kuruleni. There's also CEDA outlets in Vereeniging, Mogale City, and so on and so on. I've talked about that one. I wanted to do See the Business Start. In See the Business Start, what is happening there? Before you start a business, you have a business idea. I'm just gonna, as a trainer, remember I told you that I'm a trainer, I'm gonna interview these first nice ladies here in front of me. They will tell us, what business would you like to venture in?
My business I would like to venture in is something like youth development, because I'm always interested in youth development, an NPO that can attract the youth and build the future for the youth in the country.
Thank you very much. Madam here is saying that she is interested in starting a business that will have something to do with youth development. That is the idea that we have. And then those people that are sitting there, those are business practitioners that will assess that business idea that she has. You understand? The business idea that she has, she wants to start an NPO or NGO that will have something to do with youth development. That's an idea. And then practitioners that work with business development will sit down and analyze youth development. Do we need youth development? Yes, these people, they need. Yeah. They assess the idea that you want to do. In all angles, whether in this idea, will you be making money? Remember, you're in a business to make money. Yes, it's part of it, but at the end, where are you going to get resources to drive the business? You need money to run that. You understand? And then in See the Business Talk, we engage a lot about the idea that you want to do. That's See the Business Talk, that's one. I want to leave you, I'm not going to bore you with all the slides there that are 42. I'm just going to get, what is important, I have 42 slides there. What is important to me, write down, See the Business Talk. In See the Business Talk, we analyze and scrutinize the business idea that you want to start. Whether this business idea is viable, whether this business idea, is there a demand? Are there people, is there a need for this particular idea that you want to start? Number two, See the Business Start. Remember, this one, we started it wrong. The first one is See the Business Talk, because I'm talking to the lady. The first one is See the Business Talk. She's talking to me about the business idea that she wants to start. And that business idea that she wants to start is to start a youth development center. Why start a youth development center? Because there's a need to develop a youth development center. Madam Malaza was talking about young people that they wake up, we have to do something, and so on and so on. Youth in drugs, youth in this, mold youth, and so on. There's so many programs to develop, and Believers Care Society is doing those things. Because Believers Care Society, what you want to start talks exactly to the heart and the blood vessel of Believers Care Society. Because we are all youth here, and Believers Care Society is developing programs that will create jobs for you. Those that are good in singing. That is why from time to time we have to give you opportunity to present your talent in singing, in dancing, in doing all these things that young people need. Believers Care Society is driving exactly your idea. That's business talk. Business start. Believers Care Society realized that, okay, there's a need in Terfontein and Rosettenville. Young people there are drinking drugs, are doing all these wrong things. Teenage pregnancy, somebody talks about teenage pregnancy. Young people don't like that. Yeah, I'm gonna be, young people are gonna be unhappy with me when I hit hard on that one. Now, See the Business Talk, we've talked about it. See the Business Talk, Believers Care decided to go and register a legal entity in South Africa. Compliance, my brother there talked about it. which is you register with CIPC, you make sure there's a bank account, you make sure that there's this, all the necessary things that are needed. Yeah, CK in CIPC, that's the CK number. That's Cedar Business Start, that's where you start. Cedar Business Grow, which is the third one. Cedar Business Grow, that is when now you start looking for a venue, offices, staff, people that will be running this program, machinery, tools, equipment, and all of that, the things that will be needed in this. You are building this business now. You are building it. Building it. So you need equipment, you need machinery, you need staff, you train the staff, you provide all the necessary training. That means that you are building the business. Then number 4 and the last one is Cedar Business Grow. Believers Care Society have started in Tefontein, Rosettenville, and then now they're going to spread wings to other provinces in Mpumalanga. Yabo. KwaBokweni, eBuga, eMpumalanga, Bushbuck Reach. The services that Believers Care is doing are needed there. And then they will spread also in other provinces. The Northern Cape. Northern Cape is known that it needs exactly these services. And many other provinces that is growing now, where Believers Care will grow and build all these other companies and other businesses. Now, to test whether, what are you taking home? What is the Cedar Business Talk? Cedar Business Talk is all about what? Anyone in the house that, particularly the learners of, we said Cedar Business Talk. So meaning that we are talking and interrogating the business idea that we want to start. We said, what is it? What? Cedar Business Start. It means that we've seen your idea that you want to start a business in growing chickens. And we've done all the research and realized that almost everybody eats chicken. And then we've evaluated and assessed that idea. And then you start now doing that business. By doing what? By registering it by CIPC, tax clearance, all the compliance documents that the other presenters talked about. And then the third leg, we're talking about business, Cedar Business Build. You are building the business. What are the necessary equipment? I want to be a musician. When you are in London, you can't say you are a musician when you can't play even a single musical instrument. You understand? Yeah, in other countries, when you go to Europe, you can't say you are a musician if you can't play a musical, whether it's a piano, whether it's a what, it's a flute, it's a what, but you need that. So that third leg, a Cedar Business Build, the equipment, the technology, the machinery, the water that will be needed there, it's also fitting in there. And then Cedar, the fourth leg, Cedar Business Grow, growing your business. You are known now. So our first speaker talked about black coffee. Black coffee started is from Amchata, I moved to Durban, mother was in Durban, and then it grew. He's in the United States, in New York now. That's and our first speaker also said black coffee is a billionaire now. Because he has managed to grow his business of becoming a DJ. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the very important things that I want you to talk. Otherwise, there are other programs that Cedar have. Incubation program, Cedar technology program, and all of that, I will be leaving them here. I don't want, I've talked about Cedar Business Build, Grow, right? These are just, remember I told you about marketing, we train. Another summary, because I realize that many of the things you don't know. To summarize Cedar, in a very low gear, is to say Cedar is more like a school. At lower primary school and the higher primary, Cedar have got all lower primary and it's business startup, those businesses that are still searching their way, whether what idea they must follow. Cedar has got a program for them to train. We call it Cedar Business Startup. Cedar Business Startup. For people that need that massage, that hand holding, there's a whole lot of program for 6 weeks where we train you as entrepreneurs to do that. And then When you graduate for now, you are a startup, you are fit enough, you know the idea, you know what it takes as an entrepreneur. Then now you can move on. When you are in secondary school or high school, you have already started now your business. You have registered it, it's known at CIPC, it's known at SARS, it's known in a bank account, you know what it is, you know we have to do tax returns. Andy and his colleague did a lot. So you are smart there. You are at a secondary and at high school. There's a program also SEDA that he has business skills training for advanced businesses that are already operating and trading. Come again. And then we move on. When you are now at a tertiary, it's a business that is already operating and there's got machinery. If you are doing in the printing industry, you are the one who are printing and you've got targets. I have to print so many copies because Builders Care Society have asked so many of these brochures, so many of these. So it's a business that is operating where money is exchanging hands now. You are at more of a tertiary level. And then when you are now growing is when you are at an apex level, more at a degree level. You've got masters, your MBA level, where you are spreading your business all over. Your business is in all 9 provinces of South Africa.
So the services that you offer in the Department of Employment and Labour, I know most of you know about the UIF, no? We offer more than UIF. We have got a lot of services that we're offering. So I'll just touch some of them so that you get a feel of what you're offering. We have got the UIF service, which I know you all know about. We also have IES, it's a Inspection and Enforcement Services. When Andile and Nicholas were here and then they were talking about BCEA, that's what our inspectors are doing. They go to companies and then they inspect basic conditions for employment to check, are you getting paid for holidays? Are you getting your sick leave? Are they paid? The maternity leave, are they paid? Are you working normal working hours? Are you getting minimum wages? Those are the work of our inspectors that they do on a daily basis. Is it clear? And then we have got a section called QUEDA. The previous speakers also mentioned that you need to register for QUEDA as well. That is compensation fund. In case anything happens to you at work, then you will be protected. And then we've got the section called Public Employment Services. That's where I come from. Public Employment Services, we call it PES. Are we still together?
Yes, sir.
Yes. That's where we come from. Under Public Employment Services, we have got what we call the ESP. ESP is Employment Service Practitioners. Those are the guys who go out to companies and then they look for opportunities on your behalf. If you are listening to the presentation from Just Smith, he said you need to be registering on ESA because they don't advertise posts. So if you are not on ESA, on Employment Service of South Africa database, how are you going to see those posts? They are not advertised. What they do, they come to us and say, Ambrose, we have got this opportunity, we are looking for 20 people, we have got this qualification or this requirement. Then I go to the system, then I ask which area are you looking for? It's in Gauteng, Terfontein. So I tell the system, Gauteng, Terfontein, and people with matric and license. Then I press enter. It's going to show me everyone who's in Terfontein who have got those requirements. And then I send them to just, I say, these are the people that are on the system. Is it clear? So if you are not on ESA, it means that you are missing out on some of the opportunities. Our entry-level posts, they are not advertised externally. Because we've got database of people who are not working, so why should we go out and advertise? We check the ones that we have on the system, we phone them, then if others are already working, then we move to the next one. And we also do come to Believers Care Society, and we take some of you and then we do put you in post. My colleague here that I'm with, Songezwa, is from Believers Care Society. Those who know him, he's here, he's from here. was hired through the same system called ESA and is permanently employed in the Department of Employment and Labour. And then under public employment services, well, beside the employment service practitioners, you also have career counselors. That's where I fall in. That is my department. That is my baby. So what do I do on a daily basis? I prepare work seekers for the job opportunities. If for instance, a company come and say, we're looking for this number of people, the employment service practitioner will send the list to me and say, these are the people that we matched on the system. And then I'll call you, and then I prepare you for that opportunity that you need to go to. Because if I don't do that, I'll send your name to a company, and then you go there and then you do your own thing. And then the company will never come back to us anymore. So it means you have closed down on opportunity for other people who are coming after you. So I prepare you for that specific job opportunity to make sure that when you go there, you are ready. You know what is the company all about and how you need to behave in that particular company. I also do interview preparations, one-on-one interview preparations. If you're invited for a post interview, you can call me, we make an appointment, then I prepare you one-on-one for that particular job interview. Are we still clear? And then we also offer psychological service in general, including your counseling, your psychometric assessment. Sometimes you get companies who come to us, like last year assessing for BMW, they come and say, we need people with matric who passed maths and science and English. We want to train them as engineers. And then they give us a specs to say the person must be every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So based on their specs, we select the test pedigree that's going to give us the best candidate for that particular job opportunity. Then we take you through psychometric assessment. Then those who are competent or those who meet the profile, then we refer them to the company. Are we still together? And then we also do CV writing. I teach how to write a proper CV. Initially, it was something that we assume everyone knows. The previous speaker also spoke about assuming that people know information that they don't know. Writing a CV, it sounds very easy. Everyone will say, I'm going to write a CV, but we found that most people, they still do struggle with their CV. Or sometimes they go to internet cafe and then they just edit from the previous CV, and then from there, the phone numbers are getting exchanged there. On your phone, you can't find it, because you don't verify the information that you see on your CV. So how are you going to phone you for the post? You don't have your phone number. The phone number you have, it's incorrect. We also teach you how to look for job hunting skills. To look for job is a skill. We teach you how to look for job. It's a program that I run almost 45 minutes to 1 hour. We said that, and then every month we register opportunities in the department. Every month. Opportunities are registered in the Department of Labour. Others are internal, others are from other government departments, others are from companies. So once opportunities are registered, we won't move from Marshalltown and come to Jefffontein and look for people who need to apply for those opportunities. We go to the system and check those who are on the system if they meet the requirement. Do you see that it's important for you to be on ESA? Currently, we have opportunities that are registered in number. We've got about 2,041 opportunities that are registered in Gauteng. And I'm talking about this month. This is June. I think only a few days, June. We already have 2,041 opportunities that we have now. And then out of those opportunities, only 1,324 are matched. 47 are placed. So you can do your math. Minus that 1,261 from 2,041, we still have other opportunities. There is an opportunity for from Department of Health for nurses for 2024. Those of you who want to study nursing, there is an opportunity for nurses 2024 intake. The closing date is the 30th of June. The application, you visit the Department of Health website, you upload your documents there. Once you're done with your application, and then they made their first group that they need to assess, they're going to send the list to us, then we're going to do a psychometric assessment for them. We also have opportunity on call center, that's from clientele. We also have receptionist post from Butsoha Trading Enterprise. We also have admin assistant from Solution Army. We also have IT post from Department of Education. And then there are posts that are going to be launched on the 16th of June by the Premier of Gauteng, which include almost everything, from general work, receptionists, call center agents, engineers, everything. Those posts are going to be launched on the 16th when they launch the Youth Month. Are we still together? Yes. Don't miss out on those opportunities. The Gauteng provincial government currently we have vacancies. They've got about 180 general work vacancies. 180. I don't think you're 180 here. So those are the opportunities that currently they have in the Gauteng provincial government. So the problem that we normally experience with youth is when you tell them about opportunity, the first question, how much is it paying? And then I ask them, how much do you have in your bank account? They've got zero in the bank account. And then they want to compare something with zero. So you cannot compare something with zero. If you don't have anything in your bank account, an opportunity comes, take it.
So my name again is Lucky Mashefo. What I do is, sorry about that. What I do is I'm a consultant facilitator. I facilitate 3 programs, which is generic management, entrepreneurship, also project management. So I provide my services for training companies when it actually comes to those particular sections. They call me, come facilitate this particular unit standard, and I'll go there. But where did this all start? It started on every learnership that I went to when it actually came to entrepreneurship. There was always somebody that's actually interested in going into animal production, farming, but they never had any experience when it actually comes to that. So we could only train them on starting the business, but we couldn't train them on doing the action. So we actually started this particular company, and then we started learning about the science behind it. It's not just, just taking a cattle and then you put it there. There's a lot of science that actually goes into it. So we started this particular 12-month program that allows individuals to be able to actually learn within the time frame where they're learning how to be able to actually farm. They stay at the farm. If you have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you'll wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. If there's a need for you to sleep at 12 o'clock, you'll sleep at 12 o'clock. So you'll get the need and the feel of the production process, understanding how it actually follows, understanding the full cycle of it. So who's still interested in farming? There's still a lot of people, but now I'm seeing this. So my presentation, I'm going to close it off within a short space of time. It's basically, I call it planting green. The reason why I call it planting green is that I believe that farming is the access that will actually provide us to be able to actually close a lot of economic challenges that we actually have. So as I have actually introduced myself and the company, Within our particular company, we focus on 3 aspects: within farming, within animal production, landscaping, and horticulture, farming, management, and sales. So, touching why agriculture, there are 5 aspects which I'm going to focus on here. It's food security, job creation, economic contribution, rural development, and also economic diversification. If you can be able to actually understand something that's actually quite vital. Have you ever seen the prices of tomatoes, right? In 1 month they are, and in another month they are, because when it actually, there's something called supply and demand, right? When there's a lack of supply of something, it becomes a lot more expensive. Do you understand? So if we can be able to actually have and play a good role in actually providing these particular services, it's not just about you being an entrepreneur. It's also taking that responsibility and also providing access to other people to actually get an opportunity for skills, opportunity for employment, which these are the things that I'm actually listing here. So you're going to be able to actually contribute towards the economy. Touching based onto animal production. Someone mentioned, I think more than 3 or 4 people mentioned, I want to do cattle, I want to do pigs, I want to do everything, breed. So why is animal production so important? Animal production, when you're looking at the population, guys, we are growing as a population. I'm telling you, even right now, there's a child that's getting born somewhere in South Africa. So the population is growing, the demand of food is actually coming higher. It's not coming less. Just like unemployment, the more people that are gonna need employment, right? And then when it actually comes to the tourist and hospitality industry, there's people that will come from different sectors or different countries. They're going to want to taste because they're used to eating chicken. And then they're going to come here, they can't get access to chicken. Export market. Do you know, for example, beef? It's one of the resources that we export out, including eggs. We export out of that particular country. Looking at the food services industry that actually provide these particular services, it could be your Chisanyambas, it could be your KFC, and etc. And cultural and social factors. If konum sebenza ekhaya, mele sihlatshe inkomo. Make sense? So going into a startup, I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of a poultry startup. Depending on the infrastructure that you actually have, it could actually be a space between 5 to 50,000 to be able to actually start your small media. It's just that the understanding when it actually comes to poultry, it's actually split into 4 sectors. There's your pullet farms. These are the ones that actually supply to your breeders, your boilers, your layers. Your breeders are the ones that breed the chicken from, so what you saw in the video, it's actually a breeder farm. They take chicks and they breed them for meat, for consumption, right? And then you got your layers who actually, what they actually do, they also breed, oh sorry guys, 2 seconds. The breeder farm, they breed, they have different types of breeds. So when you are looking into going to poultry farming, there's different types of breed that you need to consider. So if I'm gonna go into a layers farm, there's certain chickens, based on their breeds, they can only breed around about 200 eggs. There's certain ones that they can actually breed around 300 eggs. So you need to consider the type of breed. So I heard a lot of individuals within the speaker mentioning, and especially what Mr. Dali said, he said research is actually quite important. Before you can even select which section that you're actually going to, you need to do a lot of research when it actually comes to it. How you're going to go about it. The market when it actually comes to it. What type of breed that you actually want to select. So it's not just saying, I'm going to just go get 100 checks. You need to actually understand which section you're going to be falling into and how. Taking it further, touching into why I think agriculture could be able to actually help in a very huge way. Guys, when I'm talking about agriculture, I'm not talking about breeding farms. Do you understand? I'm talking about also another section when it actually comes to the landscaping, the horticulture section, where you actually need to actually understand the soil, the type of plants. So there's so many sectors that actually fall into this. It's actually understanding where it actually, and if we can be able to actually get more entrepreneurs jumping into it, it could actually help when it actually comes to poverty, social challenges, health and well-being. Guys, when I'm talking about health and well-being, not everyone that's sitting here can get access to chicken in the house because it's expensive. Make sense? And then when it comes to the education and skills, if we have more farms, a lot more people will get more skills. There's one thing that I've learned. I think this year is my 14th year as a facilitator. I learned that skill years ago, and I'm still eating from that skill. Skills are quite important. Any skill that you actually take, even if you're working in a call center, they teach you a certain skill. They teach you the communication skill. They teach you how to manage your time. They teach you, there's certain skills that you gain from every job that you actually get. But it's actually understanding and learning from that particular thing. And when we created these particular 3 leadership packages, which is planting green animal production. This one focuses on poultry, cattle and piggery. We train them on entrepreneurial skills. So here we focus on each individual that comes into this one. They need to be ready to jump in and start their farm. So in short, guys, take your research, get to know more about agriculture. It's quite an interesting field, and there are resources out there for you guys to actually get into it. Thank you so much.
To start by thanking everyone. I know that we've said a lot of Thanksgiving, but it's never enough to say thank you. Thank you can never be enough. I want to start by thanking our esteemed stakeholders for coming through, Brother Ambrose and Brother, I always call him Mongezu, it's Sengezu, from Department of Labor. Thank you so much. Can you put your hands together for them? Brother Nicholas and Mr. Decker, can you put your hands together for them for coming? Sis Valencia, put your hands together for her for coming. Mr. Jazz and Brother Andre, put your hands together for them. Brother Dali from Cedar, a round of applause. And Brother Lucky, a round of applause and his team. Thank you so much. Please, when next we call you, we know you will come again. Thank you. And again, I would also want to extend our thanksgiving to the management of South Rand Recreation Center. This is Sister Sharon and Makatha. She's from the library. We want to say a big thank you for giving us the venue. Without you, we can't have this venue. Please, can you put your hands together for them? And I want to also thank the staff team of Believers Care Society, the center managers from different centers, and the staff team who has made this event possible. I want to thank the technical crew. Thank you so much. The camera crew, thank you so much for making this possible. Above all, we want to thank you. We are now closing the event. The only thing that we can say to you is simple. Everything that you have received here, the informations that you have gotten, make use of them. If you don't make use of them, it doesn't worth even the time that we spent here. All the informations that you have gotten, make use of them. Take advantage of time to advance your dreams in life. Time is your greatest asset. If you don't use it, you may end up in regret. Time is your greatest asset. That mobile phone in your hand is a tool, and is a big tool. To some people, it's a tool for a positive cause. To others, it's a tool for a negative cause. But this Android phone is loaded with opportunities and information. Harness that opportunity to advance your dreams in life. We are going to close with a word of prayer, and then after prayers, please go and receive your lunch, and we want to apologize that the lunch came a bit late. Please do accept our apologies. We are going to thank you so much. Let us pray. Can we just bow down our head as we close? Father, in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we give you all the glory, we give you all the praise. The end of the matter is better than the beginning, the word says. Thank you, Father Lord, for all that we have learned here today. Father Lord, we pray that this will enable your children, every one of us, to have a brighter future, a brighter life. Father Lord, as we travel to our different destinations, the same grace that brought us here will take us home. Thank you for blessing every one of us. Thank you for blessing our families. Thank you for blessing our children. Thank you for blessing our futures, our destinies, and our dreams. Thank you for blessing our nation, South Africa, that there is none like it in the nations of the world. And we thank you, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.